you're becoming a legend in like the YouTube for your basic dude stuff. You've got you're teaching people how to stay safe, how to protect themselves, their
Mhm.
castle, that sort of thing. But something that really surprised me was you were into sort of watching birds. You were into playing the violin when you were younger. How did you go from that? Because you mentioned you watched your parents' work ethic, and that helped you build your discipline. Then you went into wrestling. Was it that created the ball of controlled fury and sort of sophisticated gentleman that we have in front of us, or what? How do you think he shaped the part you are now?
You know, it's very hard to tell. Yeah, as a kid, I was into drawing and bird watching and playing the violin, and I rode a
Mm.
unicycle to school and stuff like that. You know, very very
Yeah.
quirky kid. It wasn't into sports until I got into them, but I was kind of a late bloomer in sports. I started wrestling when I was 14 years old. It took me a couple of years to win a match. But once
Mm.
I won, I wanted more of that, because I'd never been a winner before. I mean, just in my parents' eyes, maybe I was a winner, but I'd never been a winner before. And then I wanted more of that. Tasting victory helped me uh, develop into the person that I am today. Uh,
Mm.
um, I wanted to be better in the sport of wrestling, which meant I had to be self-governed. I had to do stuff on my own. Uh, I got really good at that, and I knew when I graduated from high school, I wanted to do something challenging as well. And my dad was a big supporter of me joining the military. He didn't want me to go the route that I did. He wanted me to become an officer and go to a military academy and all this stuff. Thankfully,
Mm.
I did not have the aptitude for it, uh, and went into special ops, which also required though a great amount of aptitude and some smarts, because there's a lot of academic requirements and schooling when it comes to a career in special operations. Yeah, you got to be pretty switched on, but but those hobbies traveled with me. The bird watching and the gardening, the
Mm.
music, all that stuff. I mean, I didn't quit those. The drawing, uh, and it's a great vehicle of escapism. Because I could drown myself in, or just immerse myself in those hobbies, and stay busy without or focusing or trying to live a harder life. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
I could separate myself from being a ex commando and a fighter, and then working on my flower garden, which I love. I love doing that stuff. I worked on my flower garden today for a couple hours.
I mean, what's that saying? It's better to be a warrior in a garden than a gardener in a war.
That's
True.
right.
And I've noticed
100%.
that a lot of top performers, they have like the escapism, they have like the yoga, or they have their drawing, or something for the soul that can take
Mhm.
them away from that sort of passion, the fury. And I like that kind of dynamic that you live on both sides of the coin.
Mhm.
That you're a nice, calm guy, but if you fuck with me, I'm going to mess you up. And I
Yep.
really
Yep.
like that kind of approach. And do you think you're always predestined for the military? Was there something else that potentially you could have gone in, do you think?
You know what? I think predestined is probably more apropos than anything else, because there was nothing else even on the back burner for me. I had
Mhm.
no plans after high school.
You're like me.
So yeah. So and it was a perfect fit. I mean, I fit right into it. And I signed up for something hard, and always wanted to level up. What's next? What's next? What's next? What's next? What's the next best unit that I could try out for? And finally made it to the top of the heap, and in a special missions unit in USASOC, United States Special Operations Command. Uh, But, it wasn't without trial and tribulation. None of that stuff came easy. People always look at me and hear about my past and my background, and they think that, I must have been just some super soldier who just smoked everything and was on a graduate of every school. But all of it came with, a lot of trial, a lot of tribulation, a lot of failure. Yeah, none of it was easy for me.